Hello again. I'd like to share with you something personal that I've been doing diligently, and I'm enjoying the benefits of it so much I thought I would share it with you. It's maybe slightly out of timing in the season and the month. It's actually the second season of autumn, and it's named for girl, but it has lots of other qualities and functions to it. So I would like to take you through an exercise. You can participate or not, but here's what I would offer you. I'd like to offer you a series of questions, and the same ones I asked myself. And it goes like this. On a scale of 1 to 100, how much do I know and love my mother's mother's mother, the great grandmother from my mother's side of the family? And one of the elements of the RAYID work, particularly in the family tree function, is that it's about people. Everything that we deal with in our law of attraction, it really is mostly about how we feel or treat other people. And you may not know or never have met your mother's mother's mother, your great grandmother. But for me, like all of the primary ancestors in 3 generations, there are 12 grandparents that in the RAYID system is related to a series of feelings. And I'd like to share with you the opportunity to examine your own feelings. So I'm going to give you a series of words, but in each of them, there's also a feeling that corresponds to this location. The feeling is acceptance. However you see it, inward or outward, acceptance is a function of this location. So all of these words I'm going to give you, they relate to a single place in your family tree. The accessibility of this location is a whole series of wonderful instruments or skill sets that you can access, utilize, feel, expand on, and so on. There are elements here which you're not in control of, but maybe you will be one day, because this location, it's involved in letting go. Biologically, that is, yes, that's defecation, that's cleaning the body. It's about physically letting go. It's connected, yes, to the bowel system, it's connected to the blood system, it's connected to the kidney and the bladder function, and it's about voluntary letting go when you urinate. It's the ability to access the voluntary that's connected to the involuntary. And you know that if you get really sick, and sometimes you just vomit because it's one of the ways of cleaning the body. I went through it recently where I was doing exercises and suddenly I had to go vomit. The experience of being able to let go is the mechanism that's involved in cleaning not just the biological system, but the emotional system as well. And it's not an easy thing because this whole position is about being able to let go of everything that happened today as you go to sleep at night, to be able to enter into the spirit world. So this location is a place that's also metamorphosis, of taking matter and going into spirit world. It's a transformational location. It is also the place of the butterfly, where the caterpillar becomes a liquid to become a butterfly. This is a place of true metamorphosis. Now, the ability to be able to do this is voluntary. There are elements in this location that you can feel if you choose to feel. Now, why would you want to feel this? Because this is a place that's commonly the dark night of the soul. It's a place known for darkness and suffering. Yes, we go from the daylight of the day into the darkness of going to sleep, but we enter into the light of the spirit world through this location. So there's a whole series of instruments related to how to open, allow, feel, let go. There are ways of increasing this flow. And one of them, oddly enough, is simply gratitude. Acceptance with appreciation. Gratitude. Thank you. Means I have received it. Because this mechanism of your mother's mother's mother, corresponding to the left side of the heart, or the feminine side of the heart, is the ability to be able to receive. In the process of letting go, you're opening up the space to genuinely receive. Many symbols in nature I like here. One of them is the ocean, particularly if you can consider the ocean that refuses no river. On the earth, 12 sacred rivers running into the oceans. The ocean that refuses no river. Bring me your death. Bring me your decaying matter. Bring me your past. Bring me the leaves of the trees, the bodies of the animals and of the dead. Bring me the mountains. Bring me the continents. Bring me the solar system itself. One day goes through the process of dissolving. This place is about dissolving. There's so many interesting things here. Yes, you can go into invisibility, transparency. The ability to be able to receive also has certain elements of selectivity to it, because you want to be ultimately capable of discerning and choosing what you receive. You don't want to just receive everything, but you can learn to receive those things that you are intended to receive because they're yours. You don't necessarily have to feel what your mother's mother's mother went through in the suffering of her own life. Yes, she's affecting the aperture of that location, but you're not required to take on the misuse of energy in any one of your ancestors. You can selectively feel and receive what is truly yours and leave through acceptance what's not necessary for you to take on. So the experience of the four-girl is the ability to be able to invite the loving and the beautiful to move through you, but that doesn't mean we deny the existence of the painful and the suffering humanity. But I should warn you, it's not necessary for you to take on all of the collective suffering of your entire family. It's not even wise. It is useful to discover those parts of the family tree that have been imprinted in you without your volition as a small child entering into matter. You took many things on, but it's not necessary for you to continue to operate with them. And it's not necessary for you to take on the struggles between men and for thousands of years. It's not necessary for you to take on disappointment and despair. from thousands of years. The collective consciousness of suffering and pain is not yours to feel and change all of it. The four-girl function gives you the ability to be able to receive the truth about what is genuinely yours, and the ability to be able to let go, not judge. It's not necessary for you to take on something in order to let it go. Your capacity here is to be able to walk into the most difficult, darkest places in the universe and have no Velcro, have no attachment to it, to be invisible, but to be there and feel it. This four-girl function has everything to do with your ability to change. This is a voluntary capacity for you to be able to change. Now, interesting thing about this is, now I'm going to change it slightly. I asked you, on a scale from 1 to 100, how much do you know, love, your great-grandmother, mother's mother's mother, but I'm also going to give you a mirrored opposite. How much do you know your father's father's father, because they're connected? The backside, or the receiving function of the heart, is affecting and influencing the giving function of the heart. And we all want to be able to access the giving function of the heart, because there's a whole series of other words and experiences on that side: joy, laughter, celebration, happiness, romance, friendship, fraternal love, prosperity. Well, there's a whole bunch of things on the four boys side, all connected to the four girl side. You cannot give what you cannot receive. Wow. So the instrument of being able to receive, open, allow, feel, transform, metamorphose, it is oftentimes related to symbols of nature, like the ocean that refuses no river. It's oftentimes represented by this. It's just a rose. We all like them in some degree or another. Maybe they're not your favorite flower, but the rose is the symbol of the heart. It's a symbol of the capacity to be able to transform the heart. Now, if you look closely, this just happens to be a rose that's a little bit, well, faded, struggling a bit. This is pretty much how my own heart is. But our ability to be able to welcome, receive, and appreciate the opportunity to feel everything that's touching my own heart, known or unknown to me. The really beautiful function is truth opens the heart. Truth precedes the ability to love. So in this function, the ability to be able to love, give, and receive is all related to the experience of, well, hold on for a moment, to forgive. Forgive is in the same place. It's another form of letting go. We can go into the spleen and its function of receiving dead cells. We can go into the kidney and bladder function, and even the lung function of how the lung expels, cleans the body, and the skin function. This part of the family tree cleans the living physical body, but it also cleans the spirit body, but it also opens the soul to be able to let go of what's not necessary to hold and to receive the opportunity for higher things to flow in. The same way, 8 to 10 in the evening, when most people would ideally be going to sleep, gives us the opportunity to receive the light of the six-girl, pristine, divine above into the open vessel of the heart's capacity to receive. On a scale of 1 to 10,000, how much do you know and love your mother's mother's mother? An actual person. Now, I've done this many times myself. I would suggest periodically you might put on just some beautiful music that you like, and in your imagination, because imagination is the precursor to the experience of being able to touch the heart. Imagination is the two-girl function. So your ability to imagine your mother's mother's mother as a young woman, maybe just 16, just on the cusp of innocence going into adulthood. Find her. And you yourself as a small child, maybe age 6, and you come up to your great-grandmother and you introduce yourself. Say whatever you want. Thank you for being my great-grandmother. I never got a chance to meet you, but I know you're with me every day. You're inside the fabric of my capacity to feel. That's a gift. That's a connection. And then you might want to just sink your face into her belly, because a 6-year-old has about that place. Just give her a hug. Feel in that place what's hers, leave it there. What is the gift of the opportunity to feel? Bring it forward as an instrument that will grow for a very long time, that will give you greater access to the ability to be able to open your own heart. That is there to release things, disease, suffering, pain of the past, and the ability to be able to transform what you want to transform in the moment, and to awaken to the possibility of receiving mysteries of gifts from the future, all in that single location. So this is a little example of what's possible in a single location of your family. Now, if you look at this line, this curvature, this is a series of colors that roughly corresponds to the family tree. And if you look at this line at the bottom right behind me, you see these colors from the mother's family over into the father's family. And this is a flowing sequence. What I'm inviting you to do is to take this kind of experience and flow through them one at a time for a month. I know we live in a society where it's hard to get anyone's attention for 10 seconds at a time. And I'm suggesting that we might consider doing this for a year or more. But I think it would be worth it, at least to consider the possibility. So you look over onto this side, I just described for you this place that's pink right here. Just this little tiny pink band. That is the great-grandmother on your mother's side. Just that one small place. But that one small place actually relates to all of them and is affecting all of the other locations, like I described. Your outbound experience of joy and laughter on the 4-boy level is connected to the 4-girl level. They're all flowing in a fluid significance. They're linked. If you look at the very, very first one, well, that's the 2-girl lake of peace. I'm suggesting that we can choose to connect each precursor of feeling to a well of peace, connecting to a lake of peace, of the, if you will, unborn soul, pristine stillness in the water, the lake of peace, which corresponds to sunset, that's connected to the 4-girl experience we just went through. Peace, 2-girl, mother's mother, is connected to mother's mother. This feminine line on the mother's side of the family, yes, you can intentionally connect it to peace and feel its connection on up into your great grandmother. Peace in the heart is an exercise, a practice, a commitment, something that will affect you throughout the day, throughout the month, throughout the year, and much longer. So again, I would ask you the simple question. On a scale of 1 to 100, 1 to 10,000, how much do you know and love your mother's mother's mother? Now, the exercise you've gone through, well, I can assure you it's moved it around a bit, the magnitude of which is really completely dependent on you. So that's what I've been doing. And oh, by the way, I really like doing it. Okay, so it's time to move on to another one. Talk to you soon.